we spend money on, it's actually a very significant piece of the environmental impact and the carbon footprint of most families. Several of you mentioned driving, gasoline and diesel you use. The natural gas, most of you in Northern California will heat your homes and heat water with natural gas. Other parts of the country it's propane or it's heating oil. Occasionally it'll be electricity, and in some areas it'll be wood. And as several of you mentioned, the electricity that you use. And finally, the really bad news, the hamburgers. So it turns out that beef has an extraordinarily large impact on the environment, particularly on the carbon footprint, much more so than almost anything else that you can eat. So the bad news is the vegetarians have a piece of the story right. So more important than eating organic, more important than eating locally, is eating less beef and less cheese and less cream if you're concerned about your environmental footprint. So let's take a look at the list differently. We're going to go back through it, and we're going to ask, what can you do to reduce your carbon footprint? Well, fly a little bit less, obviously. You guys probably don't go to dubious business meetings, but there are a lot of people who go to business meetings where at the end of the day, maybe they could have skipped the business meeting. Drive less. I tend to think of driving as something that commuters do, but in many cities in Northern California, there is more driving done by the kids and the around town and the soccer moms and people going to the hardware store in the mall than actually commuting somewhere for their jobs. So there's a lot of discretionary driving if you just think about it in your own family. The driving to get to work or school versus the discretionary driving. Buy less stuff. Your grandparents probably be happy. Save more, buy less. Burn fewer hydrocarbons to make hot water and heat. You don't have a lot of control over that. The area that you've got the most control over is taking shorter showers. Using less electricity. We're going to talk some more about that. The simplest thing is just to remember to turn off lights. Turning off lights use a tremendous amount of electricity, and turning them off is very helpful. And then, of course, lightening up a little bit on the hamburgers, eating vegetarian or having chicken a little bit more frequently. Those of you who are completely addicted to having hamburgers 5 or 6 times a week, just cutting out 1 or 2 hamburgers a week can make a significant difference. And then at the bottom of the quiz sheet was the question, it was a misleading question, what's the most damaging appliance that you own? The most damaging appliance that most Californians own is the fireplace. That's right. I grew up on Christmas morning burning all of the cardboard and all the wrapping paper in the fireplace, and we had wood, and I don't know if my environmental karma will ever recover from that. We had a really big fireplace and we burnt a lot of stuff. So, natural gas, the fake flames are absolutely fine. They have almost no significant emissions, at least comparing to the other things we're talking about here. But burning wood, cardboard, leaves, paper, all of that is not a good idea. So, a couple of years ago, my family got a $500 electric bill, which is a lot. So I ordered, and at the time you could only get these devices from Canada. They were $130, $140. Now you can get them on Amazon for about $88. Kind of looks like it's a board-looking device for those of you that are Star Trek fans. It kind of clips onto the outside of your electric meter, and then the other half of it you put in the kitchen, and it tells you every 30 seconds how much you're spending on electricity. So I installed it, and the very next day, about 10:10 in the morning, I got a phone call at work from my wife, and I think we've gotten like a cell phone bill or something. Her voice is half an octave higher, and she goes, "I'm using $1,000 a month and nothing is on. I've turned on every light in the house." I'm thinking to myself, well, at least she looked at the meter. Well, it was true that she had turned off everything in the house, except the pool pump. So it turns out we were spending about $1,000 a year moving water around in our pool. Didn't know it. So we got rid of our almost brand new pool pump and bought another pool pump. We spent about $2,500 at the time. Today you can get them for less than $2,000, and it saves us over $100 a month. And it saves an enormous amount of electricity. And somewhere on the planet they are burning less stuff to make electricity just because we swapped out our pool pump. So what can you do if you're not going to go into the pool pump installation business? So my advice would be, pick one thing, become a bit of an expert on it, focus on it. So handouts. If I could get, pass these out. So this is a two-sided handout. My website, eltonsherwin.com, is on the bottom of the handout. There are quite a number of, so the handout is on my website along with some additional pages that you could find interesting. So this is a handout of the top 20 things that you can find, fix, or replace that are energy hogs in Northern California homes. My book has the top 25 in America, but this list is shortened down a little bit, just focusing on Northern California. Pool pumps, spas, refrigerators, freezers. There are an awful lot of homes in Northern California that have 3 refrigerators. One in the kitchen, one in the garage, and then they've got a mini fridge for either their wines or for their pool house. I visited a modest new house the other day, brand new, and it came with 3 refrigerators installed. That electric bill is going to surprise someone. HD TVs, set-top boxes, PC speakers, surround sound systems, game units that are left on. How many of you have had the experience of you turn off the TV and forget to turn off the game unit, and it just sits for weeks on? Game units can use a lot of electricity. So the back side of the handout included some information on some helpful tools. Maybe we could pass them around. My daughter's science project is in the corner of the room. She audited our house. You too can audit your house. And she used a little device with the screen on it. You plug things into it, and it tells you how much it costs in terms of electricity. And then I'm also passing around the other item on screen, and this is a smart power strip. When you see a smart power strip, you can tell it's smart because it says smart power strip on it, but the outlets are different colors. And so what this does is the blue outlet senses whether a device is on or off. So typically you would plug a TV or a PC into the blue outlet, and when the TV or the PC is turned off, it automatically turns off and kills all the power to the white outlets. So if you have, like we do, a PC that's hooked up to a printer, a scanner, a second printer, and a sound system, and a monitor, so 6 items. When you turn the PC off, it turns off, and all the standby power that's going to the other things goes away. And I was shocked at some of the things that I found, and that my daughter found, in terms of what we were spending on the desk lamp at my wife's next to the computer. Just the single lamp, which was on most of the day, didn't have a compact fluorescent bulb in it. We were spending $8 to $9 a month on one lamp. And you can see the PCs, the printers, the garage refrigerator, almost $20 a month. That's our second refrigerator because we have so much stuff that we can't fit it all in the large refrigerator that we have in the kitchen, and so forth and so on. So this is a useful exercise to do. We also replaced in our house 55 traditional light bulbs. And we replaced them. We tried 11 different brands, and we ended up going with the one that's being passed around, which is the Home Depot brand in the green package. Of the 11 brands that we tried, those were the ones we liked the most. And that knocked $100 a month off of our electric bill and thousands of pounds of CO2 emissions. So it takes actually time and skill to find the right light bulb in these